I welcome you all to this video lecture on stacks and queues. In this video lecture, we'll be discussing about the definition, representation, examples, operations, and whose algorithms of both stack and queue. Stack is a linear data structure which follows a particular order, that is last in first out principle or LIFO principle, by which the operations such as push, that is insertion operation, and pop, that is deletion operation, are performed only at one end of the stack, as you can see here. Here the top end of the stack is kept open where we can insert and delete the data or push and pop the data items. Okay, because here the bottom is closed and top is open. At the top only we can perform both the operations. And stack is also otherwise defined as an ordered list or collection of elements into which new elements may be inserted and from which elements may be deleted only at one end. This is the representation of the stack. So this is the pointer bottom, this is the pointer top. The top only we can do pop and push operation, that is deletion and insertion operation. And these are all some of the interesting examples of stack. As you can see here, actually we can take out the lastly placed book first. Similarly, lastly placed plate first. So these are all some interesting real-time examples of the stack. Coming to stack operations. There are many operations performed on stack. The important operations are push and pop. Okay, you see here, initially the stack is empty assume and we push the data item 1, then we push data item 2 and data item 3 and we pop out the data item 3. You see here, we do all these operations only at the top end of the stack. So 3 is lastly pushed, so we could only delete the lastly pushed data, that is 3 can be taken out first. And actually see here the top is the pointer which always indicates the top of the queue, that is up to which the stack is full or up to which the stack is utilized. Here actually we have the size of the stack is 5, that is 5 locations are there right from 0 to 4. We have one more location free, but the top pointer is the location 3, so that means up to the location 3 the stack is utilized. Okay, so we can say the pointer top is always pointing to the top element of the stack, right? So now let us look at the algorithm for push operation. So here we have 4 parameters, S, top, N and X. S is the name of the stack. Top is the pointer, top pointer. N is the size of the stack. That is number of elements the stack can be able to accommodate. And X is the element to be inserted into the stack. Okay, so as the first step, we should first of all check whether the stack is full or not. If the stack is full, we cannot be able to insert any more element. So that is the thing which we are checking in the very first step of the push algorithm. So you take the first example here. So now actually the location has been from 1 to 5, whether it is 0 to 4 or 1 to 5. So number of the size of the stack is assumed to be 5 in this example, either 0 to 4 or 1 to 5. Okay, I have taken 1 to 5. You see now, in this example, the assumption is that the stack is having 2 elements already stored into it. So the pointer top is pointing to the second element of the stack. So now it is checking the first condition, if top is greater than or is equal to n. So n is assumed to be 5 in this case, am I right? Top is what? 2. So 2 is not greater than or is equal to 5. So the condition fails. That means what? The stack is not full. So since the condition fails, it comes to the next step. Ultimately what we have to do? We have to move the pointer to the third location where the element x has to be inserted. That is our ultimate aim. That is what we are here it is doing. So top pointer is adjusted by one location. Top is equal to top plus 1. So currently top is equal to 2. Because of the second step, top becomes 3. So the pointer is moved from location 2 to 3. Now we can insert the element x. S of top. S of top, that is S of 3 is equal to x. So S of 3 is equal to x. X I am assuming is 75. So now what is happening? So in the location 3, the value of x 75 is pushed or stored or inserted. So now our job is over. Then return back to the calling program. So this is the algorithm of the push operation. So let us take another example, typical example, where we keep the stack full and see what is happening. So now in the second example, I am assuming the stack is full. All the 5 locations have been filled up. And the pointer top is pointing to the top of the element. Okay, top of the stack. Okay. Now you check if top is greater than or is equal to n. So top is 5, n is also 5. So condition satisfies. That means stack is full. So there is no space further to insert any more element. So ultimately it has to say stack overflow. This condition is called a stack overflow. So it will write stack overflow and return back to the calling program. It won't go further to the succeeding steps. Fine. So now let us move on to the other algorithm pop. Okay. Pop of s comma top. S is the name of the stack. Top is the pointer. So before popping out an element from the stack, what we have to check? We have to check for underflow. Suppose the stack is empty, then we cannot take out any data. So that is the first condition, if top is equal to 0. Okay, but in our first example, our top is pointing to the third element. So top is not equal to 0. Suppose the stack is empty, what will happen? You see the second example, if the stack is empty, then the pointer top is pointing to the location 0. If top is equal to 0, that means nothing is stored in the stack. This condition is called as underflow condition. In this condition, we cannot take any data out of it, or we cannot delete data because stack is empty. So now let us come back to the first example. You check whether top is equal to 0. Condition fails. Condition fails means the stack is not empty. So it goes to the next step. Top is equal to top minus 1. So top is now is equal to 3 in our example. Okay. So after popping out a data from the stack, we have to adjust the pointer one position down. Am I correct? Because we know that top is the pointer always pointing to the top of the stack, right? So top is equal to top minus 1. Now it is 3. 3 minus 1, 2. So top becomes 2. Okay, pointer is first adjusted to the second location. And we need the data 75. Because which was at the top of the stack. So return S of top plus 1. So top is currently what? 2. 2 plus 1, 3. S of 3. S of 3 is 75. 75 is returned back to the calling program. Hope you understood this algorithm. Now let us take the second example and go through the procedure of the pop operation. The second example, top is equal to 0. That means stack underflow condition. So the condition is satisfied. So it will write what? Stack underflow. It will come back to the calling program. Fine. So this is all about stack. So now let's discuss about queue. Queue is also another linear data structure, somewhat similar to stack. Unlike stack, queue is open at both its ends. One end is that is rear end, front end. At the rear end, we always used to insert or enqueue the data. And at the other end, that is front end, which is used to delete or remove the data or dequeue the data. So insertion is otherwise called as NQ, deletion is called as removal or DQ operation. So that is why, since both the ends are open in the case of Q, this follows the principle of first in, first out. Okay. So at the rear end, you can see the illustration. At the rear end, the data is inserted. At the front end, data is deleted. And these two are pointers: rear pointer, front pointer. At the rear end of the stack, data is inserted. At the front end of the stack, sorry, queue, the data is deleted. And these are the representations of the queue. We have two types of queue algorithms. One is a linear queue, other one is the circular queue. Okay. And this one is the representation of the linear queue. So in the queue there are always two pointers: rear pointer, front pointer. Okay. At the rear end we used to insert, at the front end we used to delete. The circular queue is represented in a circular fashion. So physically the memory locations are in the sequential fashion, but this is the logical representation. That is, while we are dealing with the algorithm, here as you can see here, the front and rear pointers are moved in a circular fashion. Circular fashion. So because of this one, it is having some advantages when compared to the linear queue that we will see later when we discuss about the algorithms. Right. And these are all some real-time examples. So wherever we go, we can find queue nowadays. Okay. These are all some examples of the queue. Coming to the operations on queue. So insertion operation, deletion operation, or NQ operation, DQ operation. So this is rear end, this is front end, and there are two pointers: rear pointer, front pointer. At the rear end we can insert or NQ the elements. At the front end we can DQ or remove the elements. And just to recall the philosophy of the stack, you just compare both. In the stack, which follows last in, first out principle, only at one end both the operations of push and pop are performed. And here you see in the queue, two ends are open. So at the rear end, data items are inserted. At the front end, data items are deleted. Actually, here we are going to discuss about insertion and deletion operations of both linear and circular queues. Okay, now let us discuss about the operations on the linear queue. So this is queue insert is the operation performed on the linear queue. Okay. Here we have 5 parameters: Q, F, R, N, Y. Q is the name of the queue. F and R the front and rear pointers. N is the size of the queue. Y is the element to be inserted into the queue. And here actually the illustration has been shown, which shows the trace of a set of operations which has both insertion and deletion. Now since we are discussing about the insertion operation, you only look at the insertion operations alone. Okay. So now let us go through the steps one by one. As in the previous case, before insertion we have to check what? The overflow condition, whether the queue is full or not. If the queue is full, then we cannot insert the data into that one. That is what being checked first. Here you look at this, two pointers are there, front and rear, right? Here the size of the queue, that is n, is assumed to be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is able to accommodate 4 data items, right? And I am having the location as 1, 2, 3, 4. Either 0 to 3 or 1 to 4. For this algorithm, it is assumed to be 1, 2, 3, 4 locations. Okay. Now you take this condition of the queue. So the two pointers are there, front pointer and rear pointer. Both are at the location 0. So this is assumed to be 1. So this is assumed to be 0. Okay. So this shows the empty queue. Empty queue. Right. Now keep this as the assumption. Let us try to insert the element. Okay. Y. Element Y into the it is checking if r is greater than or is equal to n. What is r here in this example? 0. N is 4. 0 is not greater than or equal to 4. So the condition fails. That means what? Stack is not full. That's the meaning. So we can insert the element. Okay. So how we can do that? We can increment the rear pointer by 1 because we can insert the data only at the rear end, is it not? So rear pointer is incremented by 1, so r is equal to r plus 1. Currently r is assumed to be 0, so 0 plus 1 1. So this pointer is moved to this location, so r is moved here. Okay, then where only we want to insert the data? Y. In y we have stored the element a which is to be inserted, right? Then it comes to the next step. Q of r is equal to y. What is r now? R has been updated. Initially it was 0. Now because of the second step it has become 1. So q of 1, that is this location, q of 1 is equal to y. What is stored in y? A, for our example. So a is inserted into the first location of the q. Following. Then we have to check the status of the front pointer. Okay, if f is equal to 0, then we have to adjust the front pointer to the first location, because initially when the queue is empty, both the pointers are pointing to the 0th location. But since we have inserted an element, right, we have to move that pointer also. So front pointer is also moved here. So this condition is applicable only for the queue is empty. So it's a typical example. That's why I have taken this first. If in this case f is equal to 0, is it not? So we have to adjust the pointer from the location 0 to 1. Fine. So now both the pointers are locating the first element a. Okay. Now you take some other, you assume some other condition of the queue and check the flow of the queue insert algorithm on the linear queue. You take the last one, last but one case. Right. So the front pointer is pointing to the location 3, and the rear pointer is at the 4th location. Now we try to insert one element. Now it is checking if r is greater than or is equal to n. What is r here? R is 4, n is also 4. So the condition is satisfied. That means what? Q is full. Here we cannot insert any more element. But you look at the condition. Physically it is having 2 more elements, 2 locations free. We can insert 2 more elements, but because of the linear Q insert algorithm, it is not possible to insert any more data even though the queue is having some free locations. That is a disadvantage of the linear queue. This problem is overcome in the circle queue that we will see later. You'll understand better. Following. So now as far as this condition is considered, the first condition is satisfied. So it will simply say queue overflow and return back to the calling program. Got it? Then coming to the delete algorithm on queue. Queue delete algorithm. QFR, Q is the name of the queue, and F and R are the pointers for front and rear, right? And we know that before deleting an element, we should check whether the queue is empty or not. If it is empty, then we cannot take any element. It is not possible. The data is available, we can delete it. So again, let us consider the first case, okay, empty case, and check here the first condition. If f is equal to 0, yes, f is equal to 0. So the condition is satisfied. That means what? Nothing is available in the queue, so we cannot delete any data item from that one. Okay. So since this condition is satisfied, it writes a statement underflow, queue underflow. It will come back to the calling function. It won't go further to the following steps. Right. Now you come to some other example of delete operation. Say, let us take this one. Okay. Assume this condition. So this is the condition of Q, and we try to delete one element. We would like to apply the Q delete algorithm, linear algorithm, and the status of the Q is like this. Okay. Now you go through the steps. If f is equal to 0, in this case f is not equal to 0, f is equal to 1. So condition fails. That means data elements are available in the queue. That's the meaning. It goes to the next step. Y is equal to q of f. What is f now? 1. So q of 1. What is q of 1? A. So A is moved to the variable y. Okay. Then q empty. Suppose if there is only one element in the queue, then we should make the queue empty, and accordingly we have to move the rear and front pointers. That is what it is checking here. If f is equal to r, no. F is 1, r is 3. So this condition fails. So it will come to the else case. Else case. F is equal to f plus 1. Why this is performed? Because we are deleting the element A, so the front pointer should be adjusted to point to the next element. That is why the front pointer alone is adjusted here. Okay. Then return of y. What is y? In y, A is available. Already in y, A was stored, so that already stored value in y is returned back to the calling function. So A is returned back to the calling function, and the pointers are adjusted. The front pointer alone is adjusted here. Since A is removed from the queue, it is pointing now to the B. That is next element. So if you again perform the operation queue delete on the queue in this condition, B will be removed and this pointer will be moved to this one. Now here actually only one element is there in the queue. Now in this condition, if you apply this queue delete linear queue delete algorithm, what will happen? It will remove this. After removing, what we have to do? We have to keep both the pointers at the location 0. That is why here in the third step you see here, if f is equal to r, yeah, f is equal to r here. F is 3, r is also 3. So after removal of the element c, both the pointers should be placed at the location 0. If f is equal to r, f is equal to r is equal to 0. Both are brought to the location 0 and return y. So c will be returned. Fine. So now let us move on to the circular queue operations. Circular queue insert, the same kind of parameters. Okay, slight modifications are there in the algorithm. First it is checking. You take the first case, okay, and I am trying to insert the element A. If r is equal to n, what is n here in our example? 4. What is r? R is 0. 0 is not equal to 4, so the condition fails. It will come to this one. So r is equal to r plus 1. So it will keep the pointer r at the location 1. Okay, r becomes now 1, so the pointer is pointing to the location 1. And now it is checking for overflow. If f is equal to r, no, f is 0, r is 1, so this condition is not satisfied, so it will go to the next one. Okay, here it is actually checking what? It is checking for the overflow condition. Whenever, generally, whether it is queue or stack, whatever, circular queue or linear queue, we should check the condition of overflow before the insertion of any element. That is what being checked here. Now you see here, q of r, q of 1 is equal to y. Y is the element to be inserted. Here my element is A is available in y. That is A is to be inserted. A is moved to q of 1. So q of 1 is stored with A. Okay. Then it will check for the position of the front pointer as in the previous case. If f is equal to 0, so this applies only for the empty condition of the queue. Here it is assumed to be empty. So if f is equal to 0, yes, true. So the front pointer is moved to the first location. After the insertion of the element, first element into the queue, both the pointers are now pointing to the first location. Right. You take some other example, typical example. Okay, take this one. So this is the condition of the queue when we are going to apply the circular queue insert algorithm. So according to the linear queue insert algorithm, you see it will check the status of the rear pointer only. If the rear pointer is pointing to the last location of the, that is nth location of the queue, it will simply say queue overflow, even though there are space available to insert the elements. Is it not? We have seen already. But now this problem is overcome in the circular queue algorithm. Let us check it. If r is equal to n, no. Then r is equal to r plus 1. So now you see r is equal to 4 uh, r is equal to 4, n is equal to 4. So a condition is satisfied. Yes, fine. R is 4, n is 4. Okay, condition is satisfied. So the rear pointer is placed at the first location. This is not happening in the linear queue insertion operation. Got the point or not? So now, since r is equal to n, that is both are 4, so it keeps the rear pointer to the first location. R is equal to 1 now, right? And you see now it checks for overflow again. If f is equal to r, f is what? F is 2, r is 1, so not equal. So not overflow. There is no Q overflow condition now. So it goes to the next step. Q of R. What is R now? 1. Q of 1. So it is now coming, the pointer is moved in a circular fashion. If you just make this in a circular fashion, as you have seen already, the representation of the circular Q, so the pointer R is now moved in a circular fashion. So from 4 to 1. So Q of 1 is equal to Y. Okay, what is Y? Or Y is E in this example. So E is placed here. So this is not possible in the linear queue. That is the point you have to note down, right? After doing this, okay, it will check for the position of the front pointer. If the front pointer is equal to 0, it will keep it in the first location, as we have already seen in the previous example. Okay, but now it is not so. The front pointer is not pointing to the 0th location, rather it is pointing to the second location. Okay, so it will return back to the calling function after the insertion of the element E. All right. So this is the advantage of the circular queue. Since there is a space, we could have inserted the element. This is not possible in the linear queue. That is the point you have to understand, right? Once again, I am telling. Then going to the circular queue delete operation. Okay. The same condition we have to check for underflow. Let us take the first example. Q is considered to be empty and f is equal to 0. Condition is satisfied. So it says Q underflow. It will go back to the calling program. Right. You take some other example. Yeah. You take this one. This condition. Now it checks for f is equal to 0. F is 1. R is 4. F is 1. So 1 is not equal to 0. Condition fails. It will go to the next one. So y is equal to Q of f. So Q of 1. So a will be stored into the variable y, and it checks for q empty condition. If f is equal to r, no. F is 1, r is 4. It is not so. It is not so. So the condition fails. So it will come to the it will come to the next one. Okay, increment. The condition is failed. Okay, the condition is here. The condition is failed. So this will not happen. Rather, this will happen. Return of y. What is y? A. A will be returned back to the calling function. After that, it has to adjust the pointer. No, that's what it is checking. If f is equal to n, f is equal to n. If f is equal to n, it's not so here. If f is equal to n, then it will place the front pointer at the first position. Here it is not so, the condition fails, so it will come to the else case. F is equal to f plus 1. Previously it was 1, now it has become 2. Since the element a is removed, the pointer front is adjusted to locate the second element. Return of y. Okay. So that is all about the stacks and queues. And thank you for your patient listening. Thank you.